Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about how to find the index of an item in a Python list. Now, the basics are super easy, so, let me just get you going here. If you have a list, and I made a list of fruit, apple, pear, banana, orange, grapes, then you can simply call index on that list and find out where it is in the list. And that happens to be number 2, which starts at 0, 0, 1, 2. So banana has an index value of number 2. Now, we're done, right? Video over. Well, it's never that simple. So first of all, what happens if you look for something that isn't in there? And believe me, this is definitely going to happen when you put your code into production. Someone will look for something that isn't in there, and guess what? It's going to throw this big old nasty error, value error. Kiwi is not in the list. So if you're writing this for any kind of system that's going to be used by real users in the real world, please get used to putting try-catches around, and you're going to come off as a real Pythonic hero. Okay, so here we have try, and we're just going to catch that value error. And, since kiwi isn't in there, we're going to print out, hey, we're out of kiwis. Can you go get some? Now, depending on what you're coding, you would do something else. But the main thing is handle your errors. Handle your own stuff. Okay, now, the second caveat. This is not a sophisticated algorithm. Lists are not a sophisticated data structure. It's just going to start at the very first element, and it's going to go bing, 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 till it finds it or it gets to the end and throws a value error. So, computer science alert. Now, you would have covered this if you'd have taken computer science in college. I did not. I'm self-taught. So for all you other self-taught programmers out there, this means that it is big O sub n is the fancy way of saying it's linear, meaning the longer the list, the longer the search time. So if you have really big list, beware. Now, big list of numbers, it would take a really big list for this to get slow, but a big list of strings, it can bog down in a hurry. And, having ran the world's biggest dating site, we were always doing string searches, and this was a really big deal. We had to, switch to other data structures. We couldn't just put things in a list. So I'm going to import timeit, which is a, down and dirty way of timing things. And then I'm going to import choice, and you'll see why. This is picks a random number, a random item out of a list. I'm going to pick the ASCII lowercase letters from string. And what I'm going to do here is, in my build list, I am basically getting a choice of 20 ASCII lowercase characters. So each string is 20 characters long. And then I'm doing that for some number of strings. Now, the first time I do this, I'm going to do 200,000 strings. So 200,000 strings of 20 letters apiece. And that's going to be my big string list. Now, I've got a test function up here. And the reason I have that test function is I have to surround this by try except. Otherwise, it's going to blow a big O error when that string isn't in there. And I just put in a random list of 20 letters that, isn't going to be in this list because statistically it's impossible. Now, while running this video, maybe it's going to happen for the first time, but I don't think so. So now what are we going to do here? We're going to build this big old list. Then we're going to test the list of that size, and we're going to run timeit, and we're going to do 100 times looking for this string in that list of 200,000 strings. So here we go. And then we're going to up it. We're going to do 10 times as many strings and do the same thing. And you're going to get a sense for what linear time actually means in the real world. So here we go. So it built the first 200,000 strings. It's going to test it. It only took 0.62 seconds. That's interesting. On my faster computer, it was 0.02 or something. Now it's going to build a list of 10 times more, so 2 million. So it's going to take a little bit. I mean, this is probably going to take close to 6 seconds or more, because if it's linear, if you double the size of the list, you're going to double the amount of time it takes to run it. Now I'm going to speed this video up because I don't want to make you sit here and watch this. Super painful. But we'll come back, or you'll see when we get to the end here. But we finally built the list. There we go. It took 7 seconds. So it's, not strictly 10 times as long, but roughly 10 times as long to do this. So, be careful. If you've got a big list of strings, this may not be the best way to find it by doing index. It could really bog down a website if you had a lot of people hitting it. Now, please subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that like button below. It helps me build an audience here. Hope this is helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.